Hi guys, it's me, Ruby Welsford, the crazy person that decided that this would be a good idea. Anyway, my topic tonight is going to be all about owner-trained assistance dogs. So something that's kind of just getting a little bit more common here in the UK. Very common out in the States and some other countries, but rising in popularity here. And well, where do I start? Bloody hell. First off, I guess you ought to know a bit about my life story. I'm pretty open about the fact that I'm autistic. Yay, neurodivergent, light up red and all of that. No blue puzzle pieces. Anyway, I like to think that I try and go to be autistic advocate of the dog world. If you're autistic and you're a divergent, something to be proud of, okay, not to be ashamed of. Anyway, anyhow, wow, this is kicking off. Anyway, I'm so easily distracted. I'm like a hamster. It's anyway, or a collie. Hi all. I can't get back to all of you because it's going mad underneath. So owner trained assistance dogs. So I've got Betsy and I've got Milo. Okay, so I'll tell you a bit about my life story. They're both downstairs. Amazingly, both asleep. My God, although it's going to be sod's law that Bets runs up and like brings a cushion right in front of the camera and starts humping it, or Milo like tries and climbs on my head or something. So apologise in advance if any of that happens, but we all know it probably will. Anyhow, so owner-trained assistance dogs. I'm autistic. I got sensory processing disorder. I'm severely dyspraxic. Got mild cerebral palsy and PTSD. Yay for weird brains. So with owner-trained assistance dogs, I actually didn't get Betsy as an assistance dog. I got Bets as a pet. And I didn't know that it was a thing. I was at uni and I was in my final year, basically all the things that you aren't supposed to be a good idea. Basically do as I say, not as I do. But to me, she's the best decision I ever made in my life. She has changed my life, and I don't mean that I don't mean that lightly, quite frankly. She has given me a level of independence that I would not imagined. So due to my conditions, the main things that Bets helps with are autistic meltdowns and shutdowns. Okay, and now a lot of people have heard about autistic meltdowns. They're quite obvious. Oh, what was that? That isn't supposed to happen. My very messy room. How do I make it go backwards? What's happened here? Shit. One second. Right. There we go. There we go. I'm in the process of building the rosette wall. Anyhow, back. How did I do that? I swore as well. Apologies. So a lot of people have heard about autistic meltdowns. My main thing is shutdowns. So I go completely non-verbal, and you wouldn't believe it when I talk about dogs. Everyone is like shook when I tell them that I lose all power of speech and communication, and I literally am like a clay model on myself when I go into shutdown. I can't read. I lose the ability to read, lose the ability to move. I am literally rooted to the spot, and sometimes my legs sort of just go in as well, and because basically it's just a bonus feature that doesn't really need to be there. And basically the way that it's been explained to me, how I respond in shutdown, is that when you have physical trauma to a body part, say you injure your leg really badly and you've got a deep wound, you might feel faint because all your blood kind of rushes to all your vital vital organs. Now, basically, when you're in autistic shutdown and overwhelm and overload, that kind of happens, but to your brain, and it's the identical process. So Betsy is able to pick up on the cortisol level changes in my blood before I go into shutdown. So it means that she can take me to a safe place before kind of my legs go in and everything kind of goes a bit shit. But may I say that autistic meltdowns and shutdowns are not shutdown and meltdowns are not don't have to be an experience that someone that's autistic has to experience. Is a result of an unsuitable environment. But we're not quite there yet. Hi Linda, hi everyone. It's the result of an unsuitable environment, and I see being autistic as, you know, me being British or having blue eyes. It's just part of my body. You know, I don't say I'm yay for identity first language. I don't carry it around in the dog crate. Anyway, so Betsy helps with that, because when we talk, I think it's important to know, as well as trainers, because you'll be working with disabled people or who identify as disabled or autistic, and or both. And so I say to people that it doesn't have to be that way, in the fact that dog sport, yep, she's I call her the responsible adult of the family, shall we say. Milo's the teenager, the reprobate. He's doing so well, bless him. He's doing really, really well. He's the teenager. We are neurodiverse. We don't have neurodiversity. Yeah, exactly. We're proud of it. We're proud of it, guys. So autistic pride for the win. Yeah. Anyway, there we go. So what Bets does is that, you know, so she does the alerting for shutdown. She does deep pressure therapy. What happens is, when she alerts me to shutdowns happening, first she'll start staring at me. Like, okay, human's a bit broken. Then she'll start nudging me. If I don't respond to that, she'll start scrabbling at me. Like, yeah, she's proper broken. Then she'll try light pressure therapy, then deep pressure therapy. Then she'll literally fall into my lap. And if that doesn't work, she will lie down and bark for help. And all my emergency information is in her vest. So if anything goes a bit tits up, then people know what to do. How the hell am I awake? Autistic hyperfocus, special interest, special passion. There we go. Yay, dogs. Yay. It's basically like, it's like food, basically, for me. Dogs. I don't eat dogs. Make that clear. It's a Maslow's hierarchy of need. Dogs, like, is the most important, then oxygen, then food, then all the rest of it. There we go. Yeah, that's a bit weird, but there we go. Hi Tasha, hi Eva, hi Oliver. Right. Yeah, right, I call it Ruby's hierarchy of needs. So then I've got Milo. He's a full border collie, and he's 15 months old. He's in training. Bets is going to be 10 next year. So although she's still quite happy to keep working, I know that there will become a point eventually where she does retire. She doesn't know that. So as far as she's concerned, it's very much going to just be a job share. She is, water. Yeah, I suppose that water is kind of crucial to life. So yeah, dogs, oxygen, water, food. Yeah, food. I like food. I'm a human Labrador. There we go. So only trained assistance dogs. Wow, on a tangent with my dogs. My dogs are epic. Anyway, so here in the UK, I know the law differs for different parts of the world, but for those watching, because I know we've got kind of a global audience here, which is amazing, so cool, so many cool people. But I'm sticking to the legalese of the UK. So in the UK, we have the Equality Act and 2010, and basically someone with a protected characteristic, which includes neurodivergency, which is a disability. Yeah, oh bless you, is a disability, and if you have an auxiliary aid that is able to mitigate that disability, to allow you to access a product or service that would otherwise leave you severely disadvantaged, whatever uses a auxiliary aid, no, it's pressure. This is what this why I wear the hood. Where I wear the hood, it makes me feel together. My body parts just don't like think they're together, and when I wear a hoodie, it makes them kind of work in. Hi, Corinne, I can never say your name properly, but there we go. Mally lady. I love your energy and information. Help my daughter take us out places. So yeah, so our assistance dogs are auxiliary aids. That means that to me, very much sentient beings. They are more than family. They're more than my best mates. They're more than my colleagues. I say Betsy and Molly are my fifth and sixth limbs. Differently able. Yeah, well, no, because yeah, it's yes and no. That's another topic altogether. Anyway, so basically, we've owner trained assistance dogs in the UK, if they're auxiliary aid, they can mitigate your disability. They are considered assistance dogs. You don't actually have to call them assistance dogs for them to be assistance dog. Now, this is where it gets really, really complicated. Because out in the States, you have service dogs. I think, if I remember rightly, under the ADA, Americans with Disabilities Act. Am I right, US peeps? I think you have to do 2 or more tasks, and I think it's the same for Canada, but they need to be from a recognised school, and or a recognised trainer or something. I can't remember, but the only reason I know this is because once I got invited overseas, and I was looking at various different plane rules and CAA guidelines. With Bets has actually flown 4 times. We are one of the first and only completely independently owner trained teams to have flown on an international airline, 4 times through Birmingham and Belfast and Glasgow and all that malarkey. So she is Bets is a bit of a geek. And basically, I don't know why they wanted all the training evidence about her, because if anyone was likely to bring the plane down, it's going to be the human end. I'm not a terrorist, promise. Not a terrorist, just like she's more responsible than me, hands down, way hands down, and probably Milo to combined that they probably still have a higher mental age than myself. But anyway, and so going back, so our dogs, owner trained assistance dogs, they have basically, depending on your medical condition or disability as defined by the Equalities Act, you can call them whatever you want. You can call them emotional support dogs, you can call them assistance dogs, you can call them therapy dogs, service dogs, and I know all of those terms in the assistance dog community. I'll get flames thrown at me now, but you know, they are correct under law. If your dog is auxiliary aid, or your unicorn is a auxiliary aid, your assistance unicorn is a oh god, MI5 GCHQ, they'd have a field day with me. I have loads of Alexas all over the house, and GCHQ probably spend their bloody lunch break listening to me training my dogs, or listening to cat videos, or various reactivity cases. They must be really high on reactivity protocols. They should be knowledgeable by now. Anyway, and DISC. They should know all about DISC as well. I would say that their knowledge about dogs should be higher than the general population if they're listening to me. Anyway, going back to assistance dogs, owner-trained assistance dogs. So you can call them whatever you want, whereas in the States, they're very much service dogs, because under our law, apart from little snippets of law, they are considered auxiliary aids, although assistance dogs is the more recognised term in law, if that makes sense. Hi Chloe, another assistance dog advocate. Brilliant. Amy Garner, Tasha, everyone. So lovely to see some brilliant faces here. Yes. So getting an assistance unicorn next. Yeah. Honestly, I have thought about doing a social experiment, getting someone to come shopping with me and dress up in a unicorn onesie and like a Julius vest, but like for a giant breed, and put assistance unicorn on the side, and also then go shopping with them and also Betsy, and just see who gets the most drive-by strokes, because then we can kind of do a social experiment. What about you, as Ruby saying? Lols, there we go. Assistance dragon, yeah. I mean, if you're assistance dragon, I'd say Sean Murphy would probably be the best expert to ask about assistance dragons. Anyway, going back to assistance dogs, but for the sake of this live, we call them assistance dogs. That's what they are known as in the UK. Service dogs in the UK are generally known as police or MOD or customs working dogs. Emotional support dogs, yet they are somewhat legally protected, although they are kind of known as assistance dogs in general as auxiliary aids, because there is no legal requirement for a assistance dog or any auxiliary aid that is a sentient being to actually be task trained, would you believe? It's something that most assistance dogs are doing, and both of mine are task trained, but for some people, the sheer presence of a dog that is able to mitigate their disability due to their sheer presence can be considered a assistance dog as well, because it was argued in a case that being able to tackle public access is more than we would reasonably require of a pet dog, because a pet dog going to a dog friendly pub probably just sit down, relax, might bark occasionally, tummy rubs, etc. You go into a cafe, you kind of want your dog tucked in, being attentive, being out the way, making sure they're not stealing food, making sure, if possible, they're in a tuck, they're able to task, they're able to work off lead, they're able to still function, say if a fire alarm goes off, or, any of this sort of stuff, or, kids come up to you and ask you your life story. Does happen, and whatever. So it's an interesting one. So assistance dogs. So here in the UK, there is no legal requirement at all for you to have a public access test. Some people choose to via different things. Some people will use the ADI or AD UK set standards, which are suggested guidelines for us as owner trainers we may use, and we might independently get a trainer to put us through it just as part of our training documentation if we choose to go down that route. However, it's not legally required, and also ADUK and ADI cannot assess individuals to my knowledge, although I have known it on a handful of times in this country for people to have done it off the record, where the dog is known to the organisation, but they are very, very few and far between. So I think that's, that's something that's always quite controversial, because at the end of the day, if the dog is safe out and about and is not posing a risk to handler or the public or other dogs, or not risking severe and continued damage to property, they're capable of being assistance dogs as long as they're happy and healthy, to be honest. And it depends on what your needs are, because here in the UK, there are some fabulous ADUK and ADI charities. I'm not going to knock them. They do fabulous work. I used to consult for Guide Dogs for the Blind myself, and they have some brilliant people. I've worked with some trainers as well for Dogs for Good, and they do some brilliant stuff, as do Support Dogs. But my favourite charity, charity for owner trained dogs has to be Canine Generated Independence. Although I'm not under them, I would highly recommend them if you are going down the owner trained route to start with, and you need that support, because they've got some brilliant trainers under their name doing some fantastic work, and hats off to Jessica and Selena, because they do some brilliant stuff. And I think Darwin Dogs is starting to get out there as well. Can't remember whether they're ADI or ADUK candidate as well. So it's something to just bear in mind. And where was I'm at it, I'm not out here to make a huge divide between ADUK and non-ADUK charities and independent teams. As far as I'm concerned, if your dog is able to mitigate your disability and your dog is happy to do so and is healthy to do so, you got my support, okay? Why put in, why get silly about things that don't need to be silly? Right. Do you feel these open laws might create issues with fakes or badly trained PA dog? Well, good question. Okay. Yes and no. Okay. Right. I kind of think, what's the alternative? Ideally, yes, it'd be good to have an access test that's universal, recognised across the board. However, this isn't the case, and it'd be virtually impossible to police. It was tried a couple of years ago. They tried to put it through, but unfortunately what was proposed, from what I could see, is a tiered system where owner trained dogs were kind of seen as the emotional support dogs of the UK and didn't have as much proposed legal protection. So they would have been a tiered system. Now you got to think, okay, who's going to conduct the assessments? Because if it was up to me, I think, yeah, okay, that's a good start. However, okay, what organisations are trainers going to do? Because we all know about the politics of organisations. Personally, if it was up to me, if we had forestry trainers in every part of the UK that are willing to work together all across the world to make one big organisation, no matter what forestry organisation they're under, and they have the knowledge and the expertise to do so, and they're able to even volunteer or, just do it for a token cost fee, so people aren't taken advantage of, because there have been some very, very sad cases where people have been charged thousands and thousands of pounds for untrained dogs as well. So with fakes, I know it's controversial and I'll probably get shot down in the sand for saying this, really, unless a fake is really, really badly trained, I don't give a shit who brings a dog into a shop, as long as the dog's happy and not posing risk to me or my dog. Okay, don't give a shit. Okay, fake shaming, you don't know if that dog and handler team has, you know, that dog's got a medical condition or complaint that's just popped up. You don't know whether the handler is having a really shit day and the family members just died. I don't do the whole fake shaming thing. You know, I get there will be people that take the piss and, you know, will try and smuggle their badly behaved Fido and cause chaos. But in general, I would rather have a really well-behaved pet dog in a store with me rather than a really ill-behaved so-called assistance dog, because it has happened to us. And actually, I think it was last year, exactly. You can't ask disabled people to take on the burden of badly behaved able-bodied people. Exactly. So who's going to police it? Because many of us have invisible disabilities. Also, you've got the added costs of admin assessments. You've got also who's going to do the assessment. Is it going to be like the DWP? Because we all know what the DWP is like with the disabled people, especially with the Tory party, but we won't get into politics here. But anyway, anyway, like I said before, I would rather be in a shop with a well-trained pet dog than a badly behaved legit assistance dog, because last year we were actually Christmas shopping with Bets, and there was a terrier type dog that was owner trained assistance dog, or seemed to be from a independent organisation. It could just have been a really bad day, but he just leapt out of the guy's wheelchair onto Betsy's head on the flexi lead, and Bets kind of looked at me like, I'm pretty sure that's against the rules, mum, and carried on about her business, but proceeded to get harassed for the entire time that we were shopping by this little terrier type on the end of his flexi lead. But hopefully it was a bad day. Hopefully the owner wasn't thinking right, but whatever. Anyhow, you can't ask. I'm just going down everything. As long as it leaves my dog alone, I don't really care. Yeah, just because a dog is assistance does just not mean that they're allowed to do as they please. Owners, organisations, and trainers, absolutely. Yeah. If they are assistance dogs, not every dog is suitable to become an assistance dog, to be honest. Would I say to any old Joe Blogs, an ex-reacted dog to be an assistance dog? I'd laugh in their face, truth to be told, inside my head, not outside my head. Not make that face out loud. We'll try really hard not to make that face loud, because with Betsy it was a huge journey, and it was after 4 years of hard work with severe reactivity. Bets actually couldn't tolerate a dog 150 metres away from her. She'd go into a barking lunging mess, and if someone had told me at that stage she would be an assistance dog, I would have laughed in their face, because I thought, no, she hasn't got it. But I'd say she's the exception rather than rule. But then we can actually argue, I do actually know some ex-reactive teams and their owners. Actually, I would far rather be around them with their dogs, or very, very, very mildly reactive dogs, because they have a lot better knowledge of doggy etiquette and body language, and I feel safer around them, frankly, because if you've got assistance dog and you have very little knowledge of body language, and you come out and try and say hello to my dog and shove it in Betsy's face, Bets isn't going to react, most likely, because she doesn't really care. But, if I went round Costa, even though I'm autistic, and said to everyone, will you be my friend, I'll get kicked out, most likely sharpish or sections. I mean, hang on, right. Amy Garner, I'm sorting my talk for tomorrow. I touch on this. The key word is reasonable adjustments. If the dog is barking at everyone, peeing on the produce, is this reasonable? Exactly. Now, we get our dog trainers. We always say dogs aren't robots, humans aren't robots. Okay, we get you're going to have bad days. Both Betsy and Milo have had bad days. I remember when I was taking Milo out for a training walk, and there was a guide dog in training as well, and I think they were both on something because there was a shepherd cross type on a table in Costa, not literally on the table, then they probably would get kicked out, but was kind of whining and barking. And then Milo threw a little bit of strop on the floor because he couldn't go and say hi to this dog, and then this dog started barking at him. But eventually they settled down, and hey, that's what training jackets are for, aren't they? No one's perfect. I'm not a perfect trainer. I don't have perfect dogs. Who wants perfect robot dogs? What stories would you have to tell at dinner parties then? Not that I go to dinner parties. No, more likely to be seen at various events pre-lockdown, guzzling chips and various donut-like objects. Anyway, keyword is reasonable adjustments. Yeah. Now, if your dog barks once, twice, and you make every effort to control it, or something freaks them because of a novel object or something that they've never seen before in their whole life, okay, well, they're a dog, they're going to do dog things. But if a dog is, savaging small children left, right and centre as soon as they get into a public access environment, then I would say possibly they might want to look at a career change, because obviously the health and safety of the team and the public must be paramount, as must be the dog's welfare at all times. And I'm actually going to touch on gear and also access issues and different things like that, which would be very controversial. But stop with the prong collars. Don't need them, okay? They do hurt. I have put a prong collar on myself, and top it higher, type behind the ears, just as those types tell you that they need to be fitted correctly. And I can most tell, I can very much reassure people they do hurt, as do shock collars and choke chains and all of those shit. You don't need them. You're a partnership, okay? If your dog's helping you, you need to help out your dog. If your dog's got you back, you need to have your dog's back, okay? You are not, I wouldn't work for a boss that had me, as Dan said before, there's Facebook pages and websites for that, do it in your bedroom, don't care, not going to judge, but just don't get your dog involved. Children spend, are they not? Okay, this is why I have dogs. I'm not going to comment. Well, actually, it depends. Some kids are quite nice to dogs, and they're the pet professionals of the future. So I suppose that we've got to be nice to them. So there has to be a certain amount in the gene pool to carry on, and But no, savaging small children isn't recommended unless they're tasking, and unless they're oh, I actually said that out loud. There we go. You have enabled my frustrated greeter to coat in the middle of a big city over lockdowns. This is last lockdown year. We would have caused me terrible thoughts about my dog's coping abilities, but we are hanging there. Oh, that's so lovely. Okay, and it has been really hard for assistance dog handlers. Now for Joe Blogs, okay, lockdown has been kind of cool, because ideally from Joe Blogs' point of view, it's actually been the ideal climate to raise a pup. For assistance dog handlers, it's been fucking hard, not gonna lie. I had all sorts of things planned for Milo last year. It was gonna be our best year yet, with like events and stuff, and busy schedule. But of course, COVID happens, shit happens, as they say, and that kind of fell through the net. So we had to get very, very creative, and he's a very resilient boy. He's getting there slowly but surely. He's growing the brain, and we're seeing little remnants of what could be. Anyway, so he's, in short, he's grown up. But he's very much a teenager. I've got 4 kiddos, and 10 and under. My God, heroic. Whereas me, I am quite happy being child free. I'd stick with dogs. If it wasn't such a invasive procedure, personally, I would take up my womb and give it to someone who actually wants to use it, or make it into dog treats. Do what you like with it. I'm not using it. Anyway, George, I use a slit lead, but that's due to my dexterity is shit, and Cuba doesn't get corrected by it. Train her not to fall using treats. That's brilliant. That's brilliant that she's loosely walking train. However, I know I'll probably get hate for this, but I don't like slit leads. Don't like. You can be, George, I've met you. You're an awesome handler. I love you both to bits. But think of yourself like a driver, okay? You could be the best handler, the best trainer in the world, and then you can have complete dickheads on the road, or meaning the general public, or you can have people coming up to you, scaring you, or scaring your dog, or, you know, ramming into your dog, and you don't want that to then tighten slip lead, ram the net accidentally, even though a Cuba might be walking really lovely to heel, as I know you guys have got a lovely partnership, and that's great. The reason why I'm really anal about this is because I have had a dog before suffer really quite severe breathing difficulties and neurological issues due to attaching stuff to necks. So I don't do that anymore. I don't recommend it to clients. I do realise that makes me an extremist in some circles. I just like using harnesses where possible. Obviously, you know, some people, some dogs are body sensitive, so, you know, you got to try and, you know, do the safest thing that you can with the least harm that you can do. Anyway, Georgia Hellman. As 17-year-olds, we're so far to use dog training. This is so interesting. Thank you for sorting this out. Watch all the videos like to you. Wow, brilliant. That's awesome to know. Hit me up if you want to become a dog trainer. I want to help you. That's brilliant. Right. Jasmine, make it into dog treats. Yeah, if there's a painless way to get rid of my reproductive system, I no use for it whatsoever. If anyone wants to just get rid in a, you know, non-invasive way and just stick it in the dehydrator for high value rewards, if it isn't illegal in your country, yeah, go right ahead. Can't believe I said that. Driving analogy, extremist to improve dogs' lives is good though. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's fantastic. What the ovary and fallopian tube and womb dog shit, I'm actually saying this out loud. My dogs have much better impulse control than me, as you have probably found out. Right, anyway, going back, I suppose we should talk about access issues as well, because, hang on, what happened there? Oh, shit, my battery, are we charging? What's happened to my charger? Get back in. Naughty charger. I'm not force free to my phone charger. It can, you know. Anyway, there we go. So access issues. Have we experienced access issues? In general, not really. Not really. A couple with bets, with Ubers, and I actually wrote to the papers, and it kind of went a bit international. But what was kind of quite funny about that one is one day, a week after when that happened, the training manager for Uber actually came into my local pub and recognised me from the article that I had complained about. So we had a lovely cup of coffee together and spent the whole afternoon chatting, and me suggesting various different educational information for their company and licensing departments, ending up with the whole of the what was it, the equality booklet for assistance dogs, guide to businesses or whatever it's called, being emailed out to every Uber driver in the UK. So hopefully that has actually gone out, because they did promise they'd do it. Gear wise, or that's always contentious, isn't it? Personally, with gear, I like to keep it minimalistic, because I kind of argue we are kind of known as handlers, owner trained or any assistance dog handlers, service dog handlers. We moan to hell and back for being followed around, for having photos took of us, for having various different things done. However, guys, okay, we all know that one person, okay? I'm not judging the person who's doing it. Oh, preface, disclaimer, okay? But we all know someone, okay, that dyes their dog 14 different colours, has 6 tactical vests on with 72 tiny badges in size 6, with about 300 things dangling off their dog, including many swear and curse words, and normally with like various, lead slips, about 27 guide handles, etc. So all of that, and then what we ask them not to do is stare at us. Now, I'm sorry, call me old-fashioned, but I'd recommend, if you don't want to be followed around by Joe Blogs, because they're kind of like spaniels, okay? They like sniffing out stuff, Joe Blogs. They like checking stuff out. If you don't want human spaniels to come up to you, okay, make it fucking obvious you don't, okay? Just make it just neon, black writing, just neon highlight, assistance dog, working dog, don't touch, no touch. I don't say fuck off. I thought that in my head. Don't put it on the jacket. You probably get arrested for that. I don't know. I mean, you can try it, but I'm not going to try it first. Anyway, but if someone says that they don't want to be followed, etc., don't put 27,000 badges on your dog so general public come out and read them all. I know that probably sounds a bit victim blamey, but that, I mean, I'm really nosy. So to be fair, if I saw 27,000 badges, I'd be like, hey, cool, I want to read with them. And that's how my brain works. And me, my mouth, my brain, I don't have 2 brains. I very much do not have 2 brains. My dogs are my brains. Why am I talking about brains? Right, there we go. So I would say make it as simplistic as possible. When it comes to legal requirements with gear, we don't actually have any legal requirements with gear in this country, okay? We can shove anything on our dogs. We don't have to put them in a vest. We don't have to put a lead sleeve. We don't have to put on the bandana. We don't have to show a card. We don't have to show anything, okay? The only exception may be if we fly, okay? That flying, I will talk to you all about that in a bit, but with day-to-day stuff, you don't have to do any of that, okay? However, would I recommend that you would still vest your dog up and gear your dog up anyway, in a nice, simple, straight to the point way? Yeah, because it causes less issues and people don't ask as many questions. I very, very rarely get challenged with Betsy, very rarely, apart from the Uber and educating an airline. We've had virtually no access issues, and I kind of say controversially, if your dog looks like an assistance dog and like it's obvious to them and they're behaving as an assistance dog, people that I know don't tend, not everyone, I know every area is different, and there'll be always that very obvious I am assistance dog in fluorescent green on the head, with a siren shouting it left, right and centre, and then there'll be a person in the shop that seemingly doesn't have a brain and doesn't understand assistance dogs. There'll be always that one person. But generally, the best barrier towards access issues, I would actually say, is training for your dog. If your dog is trained, not posing issues, you're unlikely to get challenged from my experience, okay? If your dog's trained to behave themselves and it's obvious that they're assisting you and, they're healthy and, training. If you do get challenged by some jobsworthy knobhead, actual technical term there, best thing I'd say, if you are able to and your disability doesn't stop you from doing so, try and remain calm, okay? Because the instant you raise your voice, they can use that against you as being aggressive. So I have very much a script in my head. I just say, if someone says, is Betsy a guide dog? I say, yes, she has the same legal protections as a guide dog. She is an assistance dog. A guide dog is a type of assistance dog. That's what I say to people. If people ask whether she's a guide dog, and they're like, oh, right, okay. And then I tell them the life story, and they risk they never ever ask, and they probably never ask it again. If I'm having a shutdown heavy day or out of spoons, I do also carry a card with me that explains what she does in a very, very vague way. And did you hear the woof there? It's like talk of the devil. I think that was Bets. Singing the sound of her people. She's like, I'm awake, human. It's all about me. Anyway, so having the script ready there, or a little card, laminate card. I personally love the Stickman communications cards. I have loads of them. It's brilliant. I even have one that says that I'm not drunk, because I get asked that all the time. It's brilliant. It's hilarious. I used to get really embarrassed by it, but now I just find it hilarious that I make people feel so awkward when they ask, and it's right good giggle, honestly. Anyway, and on drugs, I've been asked whether I've been on drugs before as well, and I say, well, the only drug I'd say is dog. Not that I make drugs out of dogs, but happiness for dogs. Anyway, keep it simple, make them blend in with you. Exactly. The Sainsbury's, yeah. Love your honesty so much still about the law assistance dog watching. Am I right? Yellow sends a knowledgeable canine keep away. Yeah. Well, yeah and no. Because I've had experience of putting bets in yellow dogs before she was an assistance dog when she was reactive, and there are some weird members of the public out there. I think if I put out a grenade flashing assistance dog with a flare gun and a siren, they probably still wouldn't read it and come out and say, it's okay, he's friendly, he just wants to play. And that play means that my dog would have wanted to eat him for breakfast, but she does that anymore. She just has cornflakes now. I don't give my dog cornflakes. That was a joke. Anyway, having a script ready in your head is a great idea. Where did you get the cards? Think mama. Yeah, not as people. Right, okay, so that's, well, I didn't realise it was so unregulated. I thought you had to prove it where assistance, no, all unregulated. There are some voluntary organisations that some people try to work with. One is the, I can never remember the letters in the right order, but the AAPD, I think it is, the some organisations also work with them, but they're also set international standards that some owner trainers decide to do as well. But to get on the plane to be able to board in cabin with Bets, I initially had someone contact me and say, no, only 80 UK is allowed. And then what they weren't expecting is me to, I'm just going to go downstairs because Miss, she who must be obeyed. What are we doing? What are we doing? Da, 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 da. Of course, I told you this would happen. She's done pretty well, to be fair, to not go off on one. Da, da, da. Hello, is it all about you? Is it all about you? Yes, it is. Right. Yes. Yes, Her Majesty. Yes. Anyway. Da, 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 da. Where was I? Oh yeah, planes. That's what I was talking about. So initially, when I said, oh, I'm doing a seminar in this place for work, I need to bring my assistance dog, how do I go about it? Initially they were like, oh, you can't bring an emotional support dog. Not emotional support dog, assistance dog. B, there is nothing in the CAA guidelines. There is nothing in UK law. There is nothing in European civil aviation guidelines. There is nothing even in the States or Canada guidelines that says ADI or ADUK. There's nothing in your own airline policies when you actually really dig down from like managers and stuff. And in the end, I just I explained that I was a dog trainer, and I sent some videos of her doing her tasks. I got references from trainers that had seen her work, including colleagues that knew me from various UK charities. And actually one of them, funnily enough, hilarious, and I was mortified when I saw it, said she will be the best assistance dog, most well-behaved assistance dog you will ever have on a plane. And I was like, please don't say that, because that's basically asking for something to go horribly wrong and like shit on the pilot or something. She didn't do that, by the way. Neither did I. We escaped in one piece. Right. Dealing with people as well, it's like, so in the end, I submitted about 50 pages worth of evidence of law, Betsy's training, references from different professionals qualified in the area. And then I got like 2 lines back from her after being bombarded by, reasons why she was essentially wrong, by my kind self. I got 2 sentences back saying, we are delighted to say that Betsy will be joining you on both flights from XYZ to ABC. Yeah, George is right. It's Ruby. She's met me. She's had the of meeting me, and yeah, unfortunately, but there we go. So it is me you have to worry about. It was quite funny when she went through airline security, because there's no one way that they ask you to do it. Sometimes they'll ask you to take all the gear off and do it off lead. Sometimes they'll just ask you to walk in both together. Sometimes they'll ask you just to put your dog in a stay and you walk through and then call your dog through. But once I was asked to put Bets in a body scanner machine and make her do spin and twist. I'm pretty sure they were taking the piss, just showing off to their mates. But it was funny because she got the trick. She got lots of pets, actually pat downs and stuff, and she had to be swabbed for like explosive material and stuff like that. So that was a interesting experience. She loved it. She absolutely loved it. She loved going on the plane. She fell asleep. And the first time ever she went on the plane, she literally popped her head up on takeoff when you get that weird stomach dip feeling, sat up like, oh, this is a bit of a weird train, human, and then went back to sleep. So she was quite chill with it. Milo hasn't been on the plane yet, but we've got a lot of prep to do before we're anywhere near that stage, because lockdown and shit. Right, I used to need kiss noise. Dealing with the public. I try and make time as much as possible to educate, because the more people we get through to especially kids as well. I know. But if I'm in the rush, also, I'm really sorry. I'm really tired. Normally I'd spend all day educating you, but I'm really tired. Don't feel very well, and I don't mean to be rude. I've got to go, and I'll just say something like that. And but most of the time, if I can, I will try and educate. And you know, it's quite nice when you see like a 4-year-old kid saying, "Mummy, is that a guide dog?" And I'm like, well, I'll say Betsy's very similar to a guide dog, but instead of helping me with my eyes, what she helps me with my brain. And you know, different dogs, special dogs, helpful dogs, assistance dogs, help with various different parts of your body. And I just kind of say that in a rush. It's probably not the best thing to say, but there we go. Anyway, mine got pat down at security too, and he loves anyone touching him. Thought it was great fun. Betsy actually thought it was hilarious, because as soon as they stopped, she actually told them off, because as far as she was concerned, she was like, oh yes, pets, free pets, more pets. Why have you stopped? And actually, as I was collecting my baggage at the other end, she sat there and gave a very indignant bark to the security guy that was patting her down. Now, I suddenly went a deep shade of red. I was like, oh my God, they're going to think I'm a fake. I'm like, you know, got this barking dog. And in fact, I just said, look, I'm really sorry. She's just given a single bark. She's told her off because you stopped patting her. And, you know, that is a unforgivable crime in Betsy's book. But yeah, normally she's a good girl. I mean, even now I'm stroking her belly, and you know, hello Bubba, hello, you a good girl. Look at this, look at this beast, yes, helpy beast. Yeah, so basically that. Pat downs at security, quite often a director. Oh, thank you, that's brilliant. And I direct them to your page as well. So everyone's hi Jazz. Betsy says hi to Logie, and Milo says he would quite like a hot date with Maya as soon as lockdown has ended. So right, 8 minutes to go. Any questions? Might as well field them now. Wow. Last thing, thank you for coming. Thanks to all the speakers so far that are speaking. You're all incredible. I feel so happy and so privileged to know so many awesome dog trainers that believe so you know, are so committed to getting the Force Free message out of there, and you know, doing this for free. It's a big ask at short notice. Anyway, hair. My hair is wild, and also I like being in a hoodie. It keeps my brain in one place, and if I take the hoodie off, the brain will spill everywhere, and we don't want that. Rockstar movie. I'm not rockstar. I'm very square. Literally square is square. Go on, go right. There we go. Quick. There we go. Right. There we go. So, anyway, hi Betty Boo. Hello. I know they're asking to see my head. I can't be doing with that. Yeah, indeed. Right. Any other further questions? Any other business, as they say? Today was amazing. Watched so many talks. Thanks for putting it together. Yet so many amazing people. I've got so much catching up to do. I've been out training a lot of the day, so I've just got to catch up on It's Good Colour on You. Yeah, it's even better when it's covered in mud. That's much more me. Normally it has muddy paw prints on, but there we go. Got out my own accessory, shall we say, or rather Betsy and Milo have. Bets also, hashtag FOFO, okay? And everyone, yes, it does mean something naughty, okay? Yes, it is more than PG, okay? it does mean force through or fuck off. Okay, if you did wonder. All right, see you around. Lovely to meet you all. Epic day, epic people, epic dogs. Wow, I have the best job ever, even in shitty old lockdown. But yay, I'll catch up and speak to you all tomorrow. Bye bye.